Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to the special Halloween edition of Celestial Compass. I'm Kathy Beal of EmpowermentUnlimited.net, where you can find my weekly, moon, and monthly forecasts and also descriptions of my services. You can also find those on my YouTube channel, Professional Aquarian, and lots of fun and different information at my Patreon, patreon.com/Kathy Beal. And I'm going to start this edition with a look at an update of the astrology of October 2025, what we've got taking us out through the rest of the month. And it has been spooky season for a while, and it will continue to be spooky season with a vengeance. We have a terrific amount of energy in Scorpio, and it is collaborating effortlessly with major players in all of the water signs. We have two water grand trines, untethered flows of emotion and perception and communication and knowing and consequences and the need to be adults, each of us, and also to find our own boundaries between us and other people. So just know that the last 2 weeks of the month are extraordinarily intense. Please don't scream at me. I know people are saying, I can't take much more. Well, if you listen to the cells in your body, if you listen to your hunches, if you listen to uh, your basic instincts, you have the ability to actually perceive pretty accurately what is going on right now. And I encourage you to trust that much more than anything anybody is telling you out in the world. We have the Libra new moon on the 21st, Tuesday, the 21st. This is a fresh start, a restart, a new beginning, next phase in all things Venusian and Libra. So this has to do with our agreements, how we get along with each other, what our social compacts are. And although Libra is a sign that is very much into niceties, this time around, all of these new starts have a real clear eye about what is happening. We're acutely aware of how gritty reality is, and this new moon does take into account the changed circumstances that we're all in. So, good time for you to do a little ceremony if that's something you do, or at least think about what you want your interactions to be like, what kind of ground rules you're now willing and able to live under. At least consider that as we go out through the rest of the month. Now, at the end of the month, the communication mode is going to briefly get less emo and a little more excitable and future forward thinking, philosophical. By the end of the month, Mercury is going to move into the sign of Sagittarius for just a little bit. The next month, it is going to retrograde and scoot back into Scorpio. So know that we're really living the Halloween vibe in out there in reality, in normal reality. It's witchy season, it's spooky season. Use your sonar, use your spidey sense, go with your gut. Trust your own instincts. All right, so today we are going to talk about some old Halloween traditions and look at some new tarot decks. And I have a much more extensive look at Halloween, the background and origin and various traditions and stuff in my October 18, 2021 Celestial Compass episode. You can listen to it in the archives at Om Times Radio, or if you go to the Professional Aquarian YouTube channel and look for the Celestial Compass playlist, it is in there. But today I just want to talk about a few little fortune telling techniques that are associated with this time of year. And oddly, most of them seem to have something to do with romance, which is interesting because we have the Libra new moon coming up tomorrow. So if you're in the market, here's some things you might want to play with. Look at a mirror at midnight. If you see someone peering over your shoulder, that's the person you'll marry, unless, of course, there's an actual person behind you in the room, in which case, who knows what's going to happen. Now, there are variations on this. Look in a mirror in a darkened room lit only by a candle, or cut an apple into slices, and while you're in front of the mirror, eat the apple slice by slice by slice until you get to the last one, and the last one will be eaten by your intended. If it just mysteriously disappears, then, you'll write to me and tell me that has happened. You can pare an apple into a very, very long peel, throw it over your shoulder, and then look at it, and if it looks like an initial, that's the initial of the person you'll marry. Or it might just look like a squiggle of apple peel. Put a sprig of rosemary under your pillow Halloween night to dream about your intended. At least you'll have a fragrant dream. A couple of things involving eggs. Crack an egg and drip the whites into the water 3 times. Watch the goop form the initials of your future beloved, or maybe just goop. And the final one, before bed, take a hard-boiled egg, scoop the yolk out of the egg, and fill the cavity with salt. And then I triple dog dare you, eat the egg and the salt and go to bed without drinking water. Assuming you manage to go to sleep, if you dream that someone offers you a drink, you will marry that person within a year. Okay, so we're going to go from that to looking at some new decks from Llewellyn. And the first one is the Hedgewitch Tarot. And this one, I have to have notes, sorry, is designed by Tudor Beth, who is a hereditary practitioner and principal of the British College of Witchcraft and Wizards. And the artist is Angela Rizza, who teaches illustration at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Now, this one there's a new style of tarot box. It has a magnetic box, which is that way you don't have the folding and the box falling apart. And it has a message on the inside. This one is magic and power come from within. And then each of the new Llewellyn decks comes with a card altar. You can put a card, so it's just something you can contemplate or look at or just have around. That's a new way of doing things. So could we have the first image, please? All right, everything's backwards. Excuse me a second. While we're putting that up, there we go. So what I have here is the first, I have, hold on. I've selected a few from the major arcana. The Magician, the Chariot, the Hanged Man, the Tower, the Moon, and the World. And we'll look at these for each deck. Now, in this deck, each card has a 3-part meaning. The first meaning is the border, the card's story and location. This is the tale and the details where the image can be found in the world or the worlds. And this has 2 parts, the meaning of the card and the esoteric lesson within the card. Then the second one is the writing, actions needed to make the card a reality. The activity of going to the other world or to a place of high magic through, for example, meditation or trance. And then the veil, which is a practical exercise like a spell or a charm or prayer or meditation to help you see your path. Now, the book has an explanation of the cards And each card has a one-card answer, a yes or no. So with this deck, if you just want a really quick, what's going to happen, should I or should I not, or do this or not do this, you can pull a card and then look it up, and each card has and is assigned either yes or no. So if you look at what we have here, you see that there's a lot of reds, there are a lot of trees, there's a lot of nature in the way this particular card goes. The Fool is moving much more than it does in a lot of other decks. And the Tower seems to be unlocking a whole bunch. That's the middle card in the bottom. The Tower seems to be unlocking a bunch of energy from the card. Okay, can we have the second image, please? The second image has the aces and the tens. So I've selected the beginning and the end of each suit. They're coming up. The beginning and the end of each suit. And you see that each of them has a seasonal association. So wands are spring, cups are summer, swords are autumn, and pentacles are winter. And you can kind of see that the wands have a lot of energy, a lot of red, and the swords are a little more, see the bluish background. And then the pentacles, and I see that the ace and the 10 are reversed in my image. I apologize. The 10 looks like it's Christmas time, and like there's snow on the ground. And can I have the third card, please? The third image is court cards. And for this one, I chose the kings and the queens so that we can see the same ones throughout the deck. And interestingly, notice that the queens have two people in each of the cards, whereas the kings are solo. And actually, they look like they're kind of, well, the King of Pentacles in the bottom right is part of the whole landscape, which is something you often see, looks like a green man. But the other kings have an almost animalistic quality to it. I mean, the King of Swords looks like he's actually got wings, and the Queen of Swords actually has wings too. So the and the cups are look like they're mare people. So you see that in this deck, there's a lot of it's very much a nature. It's got huge nature stuff in it too. There we go. That's the word, which would be appropriate for a hedge witch. So what I am going to do now is, if we can remove that image, please, I will show you what it actually looks like with my camera orientation different. Here we go. This is what the hedge witch looks like. And this is what the interior of the box looks like with the message. And I am going to pull a card for the collective, and let's see what it is and what it says. And I'm going to actually need to use my glasses for this. And I have pulled the Prince of Pentacles. Let's see if I can get him where you can see him. So there are two people in this one as well. The prince is seated, and there is a person behind him, which looks like it is a woman, and there's a pentacle on top of the tree. So let us consult and see what it is. The Prince of Pentacles. So this deck has a princess, prince instead of knight, and then queen and king. Prince of Pentacles, efficiency. Reversed is irresponsible or lazy. The border, deep within the forest, the leprechaun prince hammers away at a piece of leather, He is persistent and patient in creating the pair of shoes he wants as the hedge witch waits nearby. So that female figure is the hedge witch, just kind of looking over to see what he's up to. The forest is snowbound, but the prince knows what type of shoes the hedge witch will require and is diligent in creating them. He can be stubborn and usually serious, but he also has a robust, down-to-earth sense of humor. His pot of gold is hidden behind him as he is excellent with money and handles it well. So there's the leprechaun nature of it. And the suggestion for the veil is use the power of the Yule moon to ensure a successful outcome in your projects. On a piece of card, draw a full moon, tie together 3 sticks of cinnamon with green ribbon, and in the center, place the moon secure with the ribbon. As you do, say, Yule moon of ancient past, in my home, ensure success will last. Say this chant 5 times over the charm as you tie the ribbon, then hang it in a place where it can be seen for the next couple of months, and make sure you take it down before the spring. So that's an example of the meaning, and also something that you can do with the card that you get. So I think we're all being it's being suggested that we all work on create what we want to create, and I'm going to just let my hair go. All right, so the next one that I have is the Unbridled Spirit Tarot, which celebrates the partnership between humans and horses. And the creators of this believed there is a special connection, a spiritual connection between humans and horses. And the 2 creators are equestrians. The author of the deck, Tina Jack Anderson, who is also a dog rescuer, a dog trainer, and the artist Danita is Mexican, which becomes relevant to looking at the deck. So let's look at the inside of this one. See what the inside of this one looks like. And it says, "Let your unbridled spirit run free." Okay, could we have the first card, please? First image of this one would be image number 3. So, the 4 in this one, each card has 3 interpretations. The unbridled spirit, which is the message, an upright traditional message. Then there is with blinders on for reversals with suggestions for releasing the energy. And then a connection exercise, a way to use the card's message in your daily life. So if you look at this one, you can see that there is a kind of Southwestern feel to it. Some of the figures look like they might be Latinx, and there's a lot of yellow. And if you look at the tower in the center at the bottom, there's a terrific amount of energy. The horses are bursting away from it. So there are horses in every single image because, of course, this is celebrating the relationship between humans and horses. And note that the chariot has more than 2 horses. It, in fact, has 6 horses, and the 7th, which is the number of the card, the 7th being is the person in the back. The Fool is fairly exuberant for a card, for the Fool. Usually you can't see the person's face and they're just kind of wandering like they're going to fall off the cliff. But this person seems very celebratory and pulling energy from the sun down, which could be very useful, very fun. Okay, can we have the next image, please? And here we have the next one is going to be the aces and the 10s to show the beginning and the ending of each suit. And there's a good deal. You notice there's a lot of movement in the aces, and with one exception, there is no movement in the tens. So there's a sense of completion. Um, the Ace of Cups is really pretty because look, there's a horse with her foal, and the humans are kind of watching it. So there are two pairs with the emotion, and then down at the bottom below that, it's a nice family gathering. The Ten of Swords has the horse actually mourning what has happened to his rider. And the Ten of Wands is out of control. Things have run too far. Can we have one more card? One more image with the court cards. Okay, again, I have the queens and the kings. The queens do seem to be, well, there's a little more movement with the queens. Definitely the Queen of Wands. She's really going at it. And then the King of Wands, note that that the horse is off in the distance with him. He's in control. He's the one that's in the center of what's going on. The Queen of Cups seems to be painting or holding a painting of her with her and with her horse, and the King of Cups is actually caretaking it. The Queen of Pentacles, you have to wonder, is she looking at what the cost is for the feed? You do notice that there's hay coming out of the horse's mouth next to her. And the King of Pentacles is just there in the field with his horse. And I note it's very interesting that the King of Swords is not physically interacting with his. He's just kind of watching it from over in the distance. So in this deck, there is also a book, which is kind of common for what you have in with decks these days. And I'm looking for my deck book. Here it is. And the book includes deck care and also some sample spreads, one of which is a horseshoe spread and one of which is an unbridled spirit spread. So let's pull a card for the collective out of this. So this is what the deck looks like. Even though it's got a really big box, it's the same size deck, and the back of it has horses' heads on them. Okay, so it's pulling our card, and we have pulled, oh dear, the Ten of Swords. The rider's down. He's on the ground. Let's see what the wisdom is for this. The Ten of Swords is, pardon my delay here. Okay, steeplechase is the meaning. Unbridled spirit of the message. The steeplechase has experienced a tragedy, and everyone collectively holds their breath to see what happens next. The spirit of the Ten of Swords indicates dramatic hardships are occurring or are just ahead. There are times when we should push forward, and others when we must accept that the sacrifice is no longer worth making. Consider what you are willing to risk and what consequences you can deal with. That's something to be thinking about as we're going through this Scorpio season. The connection exercise, I'm not going to read the with blinders on because it's not reversed. And the connection exercise is helping yourself to get closure is one way to connect with the spirit of the Ten of Swords. Closure isn't always something we get the opportunity to have, and to find ways to create your own best sense of it when possible. It's helpful to journal. That's a very swords thing to do through these points as you work to come to grips with them. Don't torture yourself with what ifs or what might have been, as there's no way to truly know. Forgive that you don't have to forget, but you don't have to forget a person's mistakes, as they will not have space in your life to make them right in the future. Assume responsibility for your part in any strife or falling out, no more or less. Finally, don't diminish your worth by believing that you don't deserve peace or healing from this. Carry these lessons forward with you on your healing journey. So that's from the Unbridled Spirit deck. Okay, and with that, we're going to pause for a break, and we will be back with another deck and a few books. See you soon. Welcome back to Celestial Compass. Today is my special annual Halloween edition, and we're looking at some new tarot decks from Llewellyn. And this next one, you mainstream people out there may be a little bit hesitant, apprehensive about this one. This is the Lubanko Tarot, and it celebrates the esoteric, darkness and light, shadows, and there's a very strong queer streak to it as well. It's designed by Lubanko, and they painted all of the paintings in this. And as with the other deck, when you open it on the inside, there is a message. Without darkness, we have no shadows to define the light. And without light, the darkness may seem unending and without boundaries. And that's their quote. And this one, the point of it is that darkness and light each define the boundary of the other to form reality. And this one has 80 cards in it instead of the usual 78. It has 3 versions of the lovers expressing intimacy with differing intensity. Not for everyone is what I will say about that. Okay, so each card has a description, a divinatory meaning, and an interpretation of the reversal. So can we have the first image, please? Okay, these are the major arcana, and you can see that it is a very different kind of universe, a little bit Dr. Seuss almost, but not with the sweetness of Dr. Seuss. So the Fool is very high energy up there in the top, very red, very energetic, and stepping across something that, I don't know, what is it? Is it ice? Is it slippery? Is the Fool about to fall? Is it moving really, really quickly? Hard to say. The Chariot seems to be between 2 forces. It look like yin yang. That's an interesting way of showing the balance. The Hanged Man almost seems to be like a yeti, hanging in very interesting looking, like sweetgrass type, and hanging over what appears to be a pool. So there's more of a stillness and contemplation than even in the normal decks. And next to that one, the Moon, there's a very, very eerie creature kind of floating around in place of the different shellfish that are, the animals that are responding to the Moon. This is a creature of unfamiliar shape, unfamiliar form, under a moon that forms a crescent that is not possible in our reality. The tower looks like a dragon to me. It looks like that in the middle of the bottom, it looks like like it is alive, it's moving, it's a creature of itself. And the world, notice how the world echoes what's going on with the Fool, only at this point, the figure has multiple appendages and it is floating as it is in every deck. The world is generally floating in the sky, dancing somewhat, and this one is over. It's more still, it's in place, dancing. Can we look at the next image will be what the suits start and end like. So the Ace of Wands over there on the top, it's as if the wand is is the hand holding it? Is the wand growing out of the hand? Kind of hard to say. And then with the 10 of Wands underneath it, person's falling into the wands, it looks like, very possibly like someone who's been rappelling up a glacier or a mountain is falling into them. The cups, actually pondering, this one actually shows you the water and the whatever is in the cup. That's not often what you see, and a total immersion into whatever it is. Swords, very evocative, about what you'd expect. And pentacles, looks like a little fairy feet standing in the ace, and with the 10, they are cascading out of the sky. And can we have the next image, please? And here are the ace and tens of the suits to show you how they go. I'm sorry, these are the court cards. These are the queens and kings. And interesting, notice the tones, the hues. The ace is largely, it's very, very vibrant, very red and black. The swords are also red and black, but the red seems to be flowing out of almost blood-like instead of the firepower and the energy of what is happening in the wands. The cups are mostly blue and kind of off in their own quiet little world. It's very difficult to actually even see the king of cups. He's just this, his eyes are like um, the holes in the back of his throne. And the pentacles, possibly the most accessible out of these. The Queen of Pentacles is very much part of the surroundings. She's very much part of all of the greenery around her, very comfortable in it. And she's got some bunnies indicating the fertility. And the king seems to be growing out of the field that he is in. And the pentacle and moon are behind him like a halo, which is also very interesting. So this one, since it looks at the darkness as well as the light, this will be interesting to see what our collective reading is. What is the boundary between light and dark right now in this especially spooky season? And the card I'm going to pull is the Fool. So the Fool has a mask at the top, like a little court jester. The Fool is dressed like a jester. There is a bird of some sort flying away from it. Is the Fool dancing in the middle of a feast? Kind of hard to see. Is the Fool, he seems to be juggling food. Is he entertaining a crowd? That's possible. So let's see what the book has to say about the Fool. Almost there. Let me get my... The Fool here. Nope, this is not the Fool. What am I saying? I pulled the Fool from the wrong deck. All right, that does not help. Hang on. Technical difficulty. I got my decks confused. Nope. The decks have merged. That's very strange. All right. So what I have pulled is the Chariot. There we go. We saw that. So it's been a day of technical difficulties. I have to get past all of the lovers cards in here again. There are 3 of them. The Chariot comes into view with the swirling energies of purpose, light and dark. Suspended in a snapshot of motion, a white horse is engulfed in a maelstrom of movement. I would say maelstrom is a good word for what we've been going through. Divinatory meaning, a vortex of potential energy, and energy that moves, having the discipline and determination to move forward. Inertia toward success. Take heart with that one. Making decisions with your full awareness and being, and that fits what's coming up with the astrology. The Chariot is about knowing the process of getting it done from start to finish, the planning, the execution, the staying on course. The Chariot is aware of obstacles and can either avoid or simply clear the hurdles. Keep your focus, keep your plan in mind, and swerve if you need to, but do not lose course or turn back. So keep on keeping on, everybody. That's the message of that. Okay, a few more tidbits for you. 2 decks that I have talked about before now have new additions. I have mentioned the deck of character. There we go. And in fact, the creator of it has been a guest on the January 4th, 2022 episode, Fun with Oracles. Hannah of the Deck of Character was my guest. This deck goes in and out of stock. It is currently back in production. New edition. doc.com, I think, is where you can get it. And then one of my absolutely favorite decks, Cacio Pepe. Let's hold it the right way. Danielle Manus was my guest on August 6, 2024, and the deck now has a bigger full color book and an heirloom quality magnetic 2-piece box. And this is what the new packaging looks like. I'm not opening it because mine is a gift, but you see it comes with just beautiful, beautiful paper. These women have style, and it's a much, much bigger. So you can see that the book inside it is much, much, much bigger. CacioePepeTarot.com is where this is. And I'm just passing this on as a public service. I get nothing personally out of this except enjoyment that something I love is being passed on. 2 more things. There are a couple of new tarot books from Llewellyn that are worth your looking into. One of them is called Talking with the Tarot. This is by Samantha Rose Hicks, and it actually has not just an explanation of what the cards might mean, but prompts for conversations with the cards, either individually or while you are in the midst of readings with them. So the purpose of this is to help you create a personal connection with a deck. And in that regard, it's got some provocative spreads. A couple that I like. There's a decision cross, gaining clarity on choices, one on family ties, and embracing your inner child, integrating your shadow, and there's another one I cannot find at the moment. At any rate, for each card, she has suggestions. She describes what the card is about, and then she has suggestions for having a conversation with it, and then for creating a personal connection and with prompt questions. For example, for the Two of Swords, are you ready to remove the block keeping you from making a decision? Well, if you're getting it, maybe not. What action do you need to face? Do you need to take to fix the problems that you are looking away from right now? Uh, Talking with Tarot, Samantha Rose Hicks. And then the other one, and so this is like more of a general interest book. I think a whole lot of tarot students are going to get a lot out of that. And the other one is Tarot for the Magically Inclined by Jack Chanik, who is a high priest of Gardnerian Wicca. And this book not only explains the concept of magic, but it gives suggestions for ways that you can create a spell from a card, taking elements of a card and creating a spell that will work with what's in the card, putting a couple of cards together for creating a talisman. And he also has some very interesting sample spreads, Tree of Life, which I have seen variations on with other people. If you're studying the Kabbalah or you want to learn more, that could be a very useful one. And seems to me there's another one in here I really, really liked, and I am not finding it. He has the zodiac correspondences, how the planets fit in with the minor arcana, how the different suits fit with the elements and different signs. And I'm going to find that spread. Hang on. Humor me here. Or maybe not. 119. Sorry. This is what, when you're doing the show solo, there's no one to have banter with when things go. But at any rate, so harness the magic inherent in every tarot reading. So this is taking your reading and then actually working with it and making something from it. Also from Llewellyn. Okay, so just as a reminder to wrap up, Halloween is going to feel like it's here for a much longer period of time this year because we have really major energy in Scorpio hanging out in the sky until the middle of December. That's a very, very long time. And traditionally people say, oh, the veil is very thin this time of year. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't, how can you verify that? I will say, however, that if you are at all inclined toward divination techniques, if you're inclined towards using tarot, you might find that there is an extra deepening to your readings at this point, particularly in the second half of October. So we are very much in a period of going into the darkness, into the woods, into the depths with Mercury, which rules communication, in Scorpio, Mars, which is how we use our action, in Scorpio. Next month, Venus, Venus is going into Scorpio, and it's going to follow in this flow of energy that we've been going through. So there's a progression that's possible. Look at, if you want to try to talk to relatives, if you want to try to talk to friends of yours who've gone beyond, I would say do something more than peel an apple and throw the peel on the ground during this period, because this is that we can make use of all of this scorpionic energy, and you can investigate using it. And you can use tarot, for example, as a way to get to the bottom of something or to show you something that you haven't seen before, and perhaps use the concept from the Talking with the Tarot of having prompt questions. Set up readings where you're asking to get answers about things that you want to get to the bottom of. Everybody's got something going on in their lives. It's not just on a collective level, although Lord knows you could put the same information in that way. And just work with it, go with it, and trust how your body feels in reaction to it. And this is a way to deal with all of the intensity. So I'm just warning you that it will be even more intense floating around out there for the second half of the month. So why not harness it for your own purposes and do something more with it? And in that regard, I am going to pull a card from each of the decks and then look at them together and see how we can, what that tells us about what we might be able to do. So first, from the Lubanko, I hope I'm pronouncing their name correctly, the Lubanko Tarot, I have, the Six of Pentacles. Now, all of the Scorpio energy could have a lot to do with money. So remember that, Six of Pentacles. It'll be back up again in a second. And from Hedgewitch, I have pulled the Princess of Cups, which is a card of a lot of imagination and inspiration. See that the princess has a sea monster with her, which is kind of fun. And from the deck that I put on the floor, hold on a second. You should see what my work area looks like. Actually, you shouldn't. It appears to have gone, there we go. Nope. Appears to have gone into a parallel universe. I will not waste your time. We'll just work with two since that's what I have. Okay. Notice that they both have a lot of blue. That's kind of interesting. There we go. And the Six of Pentacles is a card of pentacles are being cast down by two hands into a bunch of hands. So there's something here about money, about resources, about how much are you able and willing to accept, what can you receive. So it's philanthropy, giving, but I would say with this one, again, there is a question of where are you in this? It's almost like Mardi Gras beads being thrown. Like, are you going to push somebody out of the way, or is everybody going to get something? So there's that issue with it. And then with the Princess of Cups here, is that Princess Page? The Princess of Cups. So in some decks, this one has the figure holding a cup and has this mysterious fish in it. In this instance, it's this giant sea serpent just with her. And she's sitting on her stone, on her rock, happily out there, surrounded by water. There's a full moon. It's a very otherworldly atmosphere. When is the sky that color? All the blue is in the creatures and in the water, but not in the sky. This is a card of creativity, of receptiveness, of maybe something that doesn't match your view of reality showing up that you then have and you work with. And so it's a card of awe and creativity and actual miracles. So these two together, just notice what is, I'm so sorry. Why can't I keep this card right? Notice what is on offer around you, and there may be actual resources that are being thrown your way, help coming to you. Sometimes this card can indicate that there's a karmic payback, getting something simply because you were a good person, something you did for other people, coming back your way. Does everybody get some? Is there enough for everybody? Well, there are 3 hands, there are 6 pentacles. I would say yes, there's more than enough for everybody. And with the Princess of Cups and that sea serpent, just be on the lookout for inspiration coming in an unexpected way. Maybe allow yourself some downtime to sit and think and dream and accept whatever your creativity or your subconscious or the magic of the world, there we go. I don't know why I have so much trouble with this, throws at you. You try doing something with your mirror, with your camera mirror at some time, and see if you don't get confused. It's kind of like driving on the left side of the road. Okay, well, thank you for indulging me. I hope you have found some decks that you might want to explore more of, or at least gotten the interest to go pick up your own decks, because I expect that many of you do own 1 or 4. I don't expect most of you own the level I have. I have a ridiculously large collection, a wondrously large collection. Let's reframe it using the sea serpent. But I hope this inspires you to look for ways to guide yourself through these really, really interesting times. And instead of approaching the next few weeks screaming and going, oh my God, monsters, ooh, eek, look at it as, I have the vision. I trust what's going on in my body. I can read my own energy. I trust my hunches. I walk into a room and I know who's telling the truth, and I go with it. So I remind you again with all that, that my forecasts are at empowermentunlimited.net, also at Om Times, where you can find my Mercury retrograde guide, and at my YouTube channel, Professional Aquarian. And I thank you very much. And I hope you all have a delightfully spooky Halloween season. And I will talk to you next month. Everyone be safe. Bye all.